Hi guys, my queue of cool articles that are originally in Hebrew that I wanted to show and translate for you guys is getting longer and longer. So I thought, why not run through some of them right now? So I'm going to do it one by one, obviously. So first, let's talk about the aid that doesn't reach the ordinary people in Gaza. Even though I think most of them do belong to some kind of a terror group, because usually you cannot survive otherwise. Those who manage to survive without being part of some sort of a sociopathic organization in Gaza, just know that you have my I'm serious, like real appreciation and respect, because that's an achievement.
כך זה נראה דקות לאחר פגיעת צה"ל בעוד חוליית טרור שמנסה להשתלט על הסיוע ברצועת עזה.
So this is how it looks like after the Israeli army had attacked the terror group that tried to take over the aid that was sent to Gaza. It's just a group that would take control. So it says here, this is going to be in Arabic. Not so long ago, the Israeli army had attacked 8 people that belonged to Hamas that were responsible for securing the aid.
نعم قبل قليل الجيش الإسرائيلي استهدف 8 من عناصر تأمين المساعدات.
כנופיות אלימות וחוליות טרור מנסות לשלוט במשאיות בצל הכאוס שמתפשט ברצועה.
So you can see that like it's super chaotic. They just try to grab the aid for their own benefit and sell it to make profit out of it. So listen, this is not necessarily normal, okay? For those in the West that are not familiar with catastrophe zones, that are real catastrophe zones, that where aid is necessary, where aid is given and distributed, that doesn't necessarily mean that people are gonna try to take over that aid for their own benefit and to resell it later on. No, that's not normal that you have so many violent gangs and terror groups that are trying to take over those aid trucks for their own. No, it's not okay. It's not normal. It's not something that you're supposed to do. When aid is being distributed in let's say a more less sociopathic society, then it does reach people that need it, because people take care of each other and they try to make it as fair as possible. Ideally, it doesn't have to be taken by terror groups.
Yeah. אבל בפועל מדובר בהתארגנויות חמאס או בכאלו שפעלות בחסותה, כולן חמושות ואלימות. בראש רשימת הארגונים שמנסים לשלוט בסיוע ההומניטרי משטרת חמאס.
استهداف سيارة تتبع للشرطة الفلسطينية الخاصة بتأمين المساعدات.
גם בנוסיירת אליה חזרו עשרות אלפים מרפיח. פועלת חמאס.
It looks like it makes it easier to get the Hamas people, because they have special units in the Hamas that are the special police forces that are securing the aid. By the way, after bombing the Hamas people who are responsible for securing the aid for the Gazans had reported that after Israel had taken care of those angels, that the prices dropped significantly, at least in a half, and suddenly everybody had food to eat. Amazing. Yeah, those are distributors. They're not, okay? They're just liars. They steal it, they don't get it, and after they get eliminated, this is when the Gazans that, are not strong enough to steal food themselves, maybe because they're children or women, weaklings like that, so they are not strong enough to strong arm their way through this to get the aid that they need. Then they get it after those terror groups are getting eliminated.
כדי לשלוט בסיוע. קבוצה אחרת של משטרת חמאס ניסתה להתבסס בסמוך למעבר ארז ולא במקרה. הנה על האלונקה שוטר חמאס שנפגע כאשר ניסה להשתלט על אחת המשאיות. הקבוצה השנייה היא ועדות החירום.
So the person who was rushed in the hospital is actually a Hamas terrorist that tried to take over a truck and failed.
שהוקמו על ידי חמאס כדי לשלוט בחלוקת המזון, כמו כאן ברימל מול תורי הענק. תושבי רימל הרי יתמכו בכל מי שמוכן לספק להם מזון, העיקר שיגיע. פעולת צה"ל בבית החולים שיפה חיסלה גם את מאמצי חמאס לשלוט בסיוע בצפון הרצועה. על המשימה הופקד בכיר החמאס פאיק מבחוח, אחיו חוסל על ידי אלמונים בדובאי. ועדות החירום של רפיח כפופות גם הן ישירות לחמאס. עד כה שילמו בחייהם כמה מראשי הוועדות לאחר שהשתלטו על משאיות שהגיעו ממצרים. הקבוצה השלישית היא הוועדות העממיות.
So you have different groups that are trying to take over the aid distribution, and the Gazans, they show like a group, those who are waiting in line, they're saying like they are just supporting anyone that would actually distribute the food to them. And at that footage, specifically, I think it was Hamas that actually was distributing the food.
לעתים אלו ועדות מקומיות, לעתים הן פועלות תחת חמאס ולוקחות חלק בהבטחת ובחלוקת הסיוע.
This is like, so there are also just groups that are not necessarily, they don't belong to anything that is recognized. They're just like, Amamiyot is like, it's the people, like it's less organized.
אנשי הוועדות עובדים במשמרות יום ולילה, והם שאחראים לקלוט את המזון לתוך מחסנים שהוכנו מראש. התלות של תושבי עזה בסיוע קורצת לארגוני הטרור שהבינו שהשלטון בעזה עובר דרך שקי הקמח והאורז.
Okay, so what's right now is like 90% of the people that live in the strip, they depend on the aid, and almost 70% of the aid ends up being in terrorist organization, held by terrorist organizations. So they're actually fighting among themselves. There is a lot of, by the way, there are daily reports of gang fights, like intense gang fights inside of Gaza. And one of the biggest things they are fighting for is that distribution rights of that aid, because those who distribute the aid have the most power in the strip. So this is basically like saying, hey, we are now in charge.
כמעט 90% מתושבי הרצועה נסמכים.
And it's probably gonna be the video that I'm shooting now is probably gonna get published after I actually make tonight's live. So tonight's live is gonna be about Gaza, and there I'm gonna really show you how on Twitter as well they report that there are always fights between families, the chamulot, between different family, different groups of gangs, like how they have like street shooting fights that actually last for hours and hours, and they also, if Hamas, for example, catches a citizen that tries to steal food, like they torture that person and they publish the videos of this person getting tortured as well. But I'm not going to show it to you because I'm going to get an age restriction again. So.
נסמכים על הסיוע, כמעט 70% ממנו נופל לידי ארגוני הטרור.
لماذا تستهدف هذه اللجان لجان عشائر.
גם החמולות ניסו לשלוט בסיוע, אבל לאחר מספר מקרי רצח בידי חמאס חדלו מכך.
أكد التجمع الوطني للعشائر الفلسطينية في بيان وقوفه خلف قوات الشرطة التابعة لداخلية غزة.
ממש כאילו היה מדובר בסחר בקוקאין שמפריע לראשי הקרטל בעזה.
ونعت تجمع الشهداء من الشرطة واللجان الشعبية.
התייצבותם לצד חמאס היא מוחלטת, ככה זה כאשר הפחד מדבר.
fight Hamas and get the aid as well. They had realized that the numbers of casualties they have is way too high. So right now Hamas has the upper hand because they literally brutally attack and analyze everyone that tries to take over the aid. So they ended up being supporting Hamas just because they don't have a choice. They're like, okay, it's either we support Hamas or we die, and they chose to stay alive and let Hamas have the aid, even though it means that they're gonna not get it properly.
משאיות סיוע נשדדות בדרכים וחבילות מזון הושלחו כדי לפנות מקום להברחת סיגריות בתוך אבטיחים. לא מפליא שהשווקים מתרוקנים.
This is how they show, like, for example, that they took over an aid truck and they just threw all the food away to smuggle cigarettes. Yeah. They just took the food and scattered it on the ground to smuggle cigarettes and stuff that they deem more important than food.
כל עוד יוסיף הסיוע לזרום וכל עוד ייפול לידי חמאס, יחזק ארגון הטרור את שלטונו בעזה, שנראית כיום יותר כמו סומליה. שליטה ישראלית במעברים וגם בשטחי מפתח נוספים תוכל לשלול מחמאס יכולת שלטונית משמעותית.
Violently. The aid right now is mostly Hamas. Other groups that tried to do so didn't do as well because Hamas had taken care of them, manos o menos. So those who control the aid paths are actually those who are controlling Gaza right now. So that is actually from 3 weeks ago, for those who are wondering how Hamas is doing right now. Maybe Hamas is not doing as greatly right now as it did 3 weeks ago. And today is this July 16th. Right. This is the day of filming. Well, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I have a Buy Me Coffee link below if you guys want to support me. It really, really helps. And thank you so much for watching. See you later.